Hey everybody, it's your boy Duel back with another video, and today's episode we'll be taking a look at the Spectacular Spider-Man episode 8 titled Reaction. And this episode was written by Randy Jant and directed by Jennifer Coyle. We're going to jump right in because as per usual this is a beefy episode, so here we go. Spider-Man is seen swinging around and he is looking for the Green Goblin, but Green Goblin is nowhere to be seen. In the meantime, some car thieves were spotted and Spider-Man chases them. Spider-Man webs the driver to the wheel, but he claims he can't stop the brakes because the brakes were cut. The other thief is trying to escape, and then Spider-Man figures out that the thief that was escaping, he cut the brakes. We see a nice little a nod to Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi, where he decides to stop the car bus using his, doing the train stop. That's what he decides to do. So it's pretty cool. We get to see that there. And it stops just before hitting a blind old man crossing the street. One of the cars that fell loose while Spider-Man was stopping them almost hits a guy and a girl, and Spider-Man swoops in and saves them. But he webs them close together and hangs them over a light pole and tells them, the dude can thank me later. In this scene, the girl and the guy are like really close together and they're blushing. Spider-Man goes after the other thief, and then the intro starts. All the cars mash into each other near the end, and Spider-Man stops the thief, and then we transition to Midtown Mustang football game. Gwen and MJ are in the crowd, and the game is a nail-biter, and it's about to end. Peter is sitting with MJ, and then he starts asking MJ what she's doing there, and MJ says that Flash invited her. Harry makes the touchdown, winning the entire game, and everybody is just cheering, and they're over the moon with this information. Peter doesn't look very pleased. He's more worried about MJ. He's asking MJ what their relationship status is pretty much, and MJ says to, well, slow down, Tiger, and that they aren't going steady. They're just friends. So MJ leaves to go congratulate Flash. This gives Peter an uneasy feeling, but he doesn't chase after her. Liz approaches Peter, and this is significant because we have not seen Liz Allen in quite some time, so it's interesting to see her back into the picture. Liz approaches Peter, asking if he's going to Coney Island with everybody tomorrow to celebrate the win. Peter says he wouldn't miss it, and then he's got a big old bright smile on his face. We move to the locker room where Rand invites Harry to go get a burger after the game, but Harry says he'll have to catch up. And in this particular moment, Harry doesn't look very good. He looks sick, and this is most likely due to the fact that he either is having withdrawals from the serum, or it's just like after effect, like it's just affecting him. The more he takes it, the more it messes up his body. Gwen is outside the locker room where she asks Flash and Rand where Harry is, and they say that he should be right out. Flash laughs and says, look, Harry's made himself a groupie or something like that, which I guess back then is offensive. I don't know. Harry is taking the Green Goblin formula again, and that seems to set him back to normal. And then time passes by where Gwen has been waiting for Harry to come out, but he never comes out. The janitor locks up the locker room, and he says that, yeah, I don't think your friend's coming, implying that he cleared the locker room, I guess, and nobody was in there. Otto says he's worried about the Spider-Man, but Norman tells him he whines more than his son and that he can't have weak men in his organization. Otto has a fantasy about using his robot arms to take down Norman, but he quickly snaps out of it and says he'll comply. Norman says that he'll keep running his experiments like a good Dr. Octopus, and Otto keeps telling him that name is so demeaning. Otto takes out the safety key while he's going to go work on another experiment, and he goes into the lab room, where he's working on whatever this device is. It's like some sort of electrical device. While Otto is in there working, somebody sneaks in, and it appears to be the Green Goblin. They show his arm, but it's obviously the Green Goblin. And then the Goblin inserts the key back in. Otto gets trapped, and he is getting electrocuted, and his inhibitor chip gets destroyed, and it looks like his arms get fused into his spine. Huge shock. A huge explosion at Oscorp, and this catches Spidey's attention as he's swinging around. Spider-Man says at normal swinging speed he can't get there in time, so what does he do? He flings himself using his webs like a slingshot. Norman arrives wondering what the commotion is, and he barges in to find Otto sitting on the ground. Well, actually, he's not really sitting, he's more just laying there passed out, but anyways. Spider-Man arrives and he lifts the debris off of Otto, and Norman asks if Otto is okay. They say that he has a pulse, but his arms are fused to his skin as it appeared earlier. Otto wakes up, but he remembers that Norman called him weak, and so this echoes in his head, and he immediately gets mad. He attacks Norman, but Spider-Man shows up and saves Norman's life. Otto then begins attacking Spider-Man, and he's got him like pinned to a wall here. He's immediately got the upper hand. These arms are a lot for Spider-Man to handle. Otto says that Spider-Man tried to destroy him, but survived, and now he's improved. Spider-Man, of course, is very confused by this. Like, what are you talking about, dog? I've never even met you in my life. Otto drops Norman, and then he says, Octavius, or, no, I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. Otto drops Norman, and then Norman says something like, Otto, are you okay? Or something along those lines. And then Otto was like, don't call me that anymore. Octavius was weak. You can call me Dr. Octopus. Spider-Man struggles to get free from Otto, but he keeps making jokes, and Otto does not like this, saying that the jokes do not equal clever. Spider-Man says that the ratio of arms to sanity hasn't really been established either, so, you know. Norman gets escorted out, but one of his employees stops him and asks if they should help Spider-Man. He's just over here like, knock yourself out, and they just keep leaving, and so the employee's like, nope, never mind, I'm not gonna help, and they all leave. Otto continues to chase Spider-Man, but an alarm goes off, and Otto says killing Spider-Man will have to wait. He knocks down Spidey, and then he gets away. Gwen finds Harry unconscious, but Harry wakes up. Gwen asks what happened to him, and he just says, oh, you know, the game wiped me out. It's no big deal. Harry invites Gwen to Coney Island, and she's like, okay, well, you invite me to Coney Island, that's great, but will you give me a real explanation when we get there? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's all good. Transition to the Bugle, where Lee has a hunch about the Goblin, but is supposed to be working on the Spider-Man expose. JJ comes in asking what they think of his son, and he asks Foswell to cover his son's space shuttle launch. Joe says, alright, fine, Lee, you can cover Goblin and Spider-Man. We quickly move back to Otto's apartment, where Otto is looking for a power source that is more permanent for his arms, because it's clear that that alarm clock earlier was like a signal that his arms were about to lose charge. He finds a spare power battery that he can put into his belt, and this will give him some extra time, and then after he does that, we move on to the fair. Harry is seen competing in the Strength Bell game, where Rand asks him where he got all that strength from, and it's obvious it's from the goblin juice. Gwen shows up to talk to Harry, but he loses her by saying, hey guys, let's go get some corn dogs, and they all just dip. Why Gwen doesn't follow him, I have no idea, but I digress. Peter arrives, and Gwen says something that is wrong with Harry, and Peter says, nah, this surprises you? He's fine, I'm sure. And then she gives him like this really mean look, like, really, bro? And Peter's like, okay, fine, I got it. We should talk to him. He says that the football game has gotten to his head, but you know what? Look, he looks happy, so leave him be. And then before they can talk any more about it, Liz interrupts and grabs Peter while Peter is being pulled away. He claims that Harry's fine and nothing is wrong. We then get a montage of Peter and Liz hanging out at Coney Island. And there's a part where they're playing games, and it almost looks like a date, right? And they're playing like this water gun game where you shoot the target, right? And Peter shoots it at her, and then she shoots it at him. And he pulls out a Spider-Man mask and like is wiping his face and her face with it, but he doesn't realize it's a Spider-Man mask until he looks down. She hands him some cotton candy, and it sticks to his fingers, and he can't get it off. And he's like, I guess I have sticky fingers. They run into, they being Peter and Liz, run into Flash and MJ, and MJ's like, is it just me, or is this kind of awkward? They're then interrupted by Dr. Octopus, who is climbing a building, and Peter runs away, saying too much sugar hurt his stomach, and not to follow him as he's running away. Otto begins robbing the Tricorp organization, where he's looking for a guy named Dr. Twaki, and he asks for the Megalopack prototype. Now this Megalopack is what will power Otto's arms for longer use. Dr. Twaki tells him where the Megalopack is, and then Spider-Man arrives, swiping the Megalopack just before Otto can get his hands on it. Otto tells Spider-Man to hand it over, which of course Spider-Man politely disagrees. We then get a chase down scene between Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus. Spider-Man gets away and asks Dr. Twaki what the device is. Twaki says it's a power source charged for years at a time. Then he tells Dr. Twaki, alright, thanks for that info, but you gotta go hide, bro. Spider-Man figures out that all he has to do is play keep away until he runs out of power, and then that will shut down Otto, and that'll be the end. We now move to the Bugle, where the shuttle launch is a success, and JJ dances with Betty, and he's like dancing with her, and he's like, Miss Brand, I'm a married man, and like puts her to the side. Otto then invades Coney Island, and everyone's running away, and then in the process of everybody running away, Gwen falls, and then Harry's running away, and he jumps over Gwen. He just leaves her there, and she notices this. And yeah, that's very unsettling to see. MJ actually comes back and stops to save Gwen, but as she's about to pick Gwen up, Dr. Octopus shows up, and he is about to probably hurt them or kill them or capture them, whatever he's going to do. It's not good, right? Spider-Man pops up and he swoops in, swinging in, and he saves MJ and Gwen just before Otto can get to them. Spider-Man says, a guy could get used to this. And then he puts him down, and then he begins to fight Otto until Spider-Man webs up his arms. I said wops. He webs up his arms like he does in Civil War with giant Ant-Man. And he's like, with the giant walkie thingy from Star Wars, and then Otto falls over, but it doesn't defeat him, so he gets right back up. Flash comes up behind Otto, and Flash is like, I got your back, Spidey, but Spider-Man's like, no. Otto realizes that, ooh, innocent lives, so that's your weakness, and he pretty much tells that to Spider-Man, so you're weak to saving the innocent. I should have known. He also then calls Spider-Man naive for trying to use a ploy to drain his battery, but he laughs and says that he's got an hour left, and imagine how much damage he can do with that hour. Otto then grabs Liz and says that he could even hurt Liz during that hour, and he takes off, and this seemingly pisses off Peter, so he goes after Otto as quick as he can. Otto tells him to choose the device or save the girl, which is also a little bit of a nod to Spider-Man 1, where Norman Osborn is telling Spider-Man, save the woman you love, or save the children kind of thing. Spider-Man's like, all right, fine, you want the power source? Then he chucks it. He uses his webs and he throws it really far away. Spider-Man goes and saves Liz, and then Otto knocks Spider-Man around. Once he saves Liz, this pisses off Otto. He's knocking Spider-Man around, and Spider-Man falls under this circus game, and it's called Hit the Freak. Spider-Man's getting beaten around pretty bad, but while he's getting knocked around, he blinds Otto with his belt right before he's trying to switch power sources. He's got both power sources out. He's got the new one and the old one, and he pulls up his belt, and it blinds Otto, and then he takes that chance to knock out Otto. At the end of the fight, Peter comes back taking pictures of what happened, taking a picture of Otto, and he's asking what's going on, and it looks like Flash and Liz are breaking up. Peter gets blamed, but he tries to talk to Liz, but right before he goes and talks to her, MJ stops him and says that it's not the right time. Gwen arrives saying that they really need to talk to Harry, and Peter's like, yeah, but where the heck is Harry? And then we now transition to Harry's house, where Harry is back at his room taking more goblin serum. We move to a scene with Hammerhead and Norman, where Hammerhead is blaming Norman for the Green Goblin axe because he's stealing Oscorp tech, so I guess that means because he's stealing Oscorp stuff only, that he must be from Oscorp. Norman's like, why would I hire somebody to steal my own stuff? So he convinces Hammerhead that Green Goblin's a common enemy, and they must find him and unmask him as soon as possible before it's too late. And that's the end of the episode. So a lot happens in this episode, but not what I was wanting. I was wanting, like I mentioned in the last episode, I wanted Peter to dive in and kind of think about what he's dealing with and the relationships that's going on in his life right now. But he just kind of, he's a teenager, right? So I'm not pooping on Peter by any means. I'm just saying he's just going back and forth between all these women. First it was Betty, then he got MJ, Liz got his attention, and of course Gwen likes Peter too. So there's all of this stuff going on, and Peter's not really paying attention to what's in front of him. And which is pretty classic Spider-Man, right? He's so busy trying to be a teenager and be Spider-Man that he can't really focus on his other relationships and everything else that he's got going on in his life. And that's not a critique on the episode. Overall, I think it's a good episode. I'm gonna give this episode a 4 out of 5. overall, because I think that Otto was a little bit more formidable of opponent compared to Sandman and Rhino. They're not just dumb idiots running around just causing trouble. Although they do wrap it up in one episode, Otto does not get away. He gets Otto, which is kind of sad because Otto is like, in this the depiction of Otto Octavius, he's a good guy trying to do good things, and he got corrupted by bad people, and for whatever reason, his alter ego, Dr. Octopus, thinks that Spider-Man is the reasoning for all of this when it's not. So it's kind of sad to see. I like how they do that. Like, his brain's so twisted, he just assumes that Spider-Man is the reason for it, because there's no way that anybody else could do it. Right? There's nobody else in a mask running around causing havoc. So, you know, whatever. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, that's about it for me. I looked at a peek at episode 9, and it looks like we're finally going to get the reveal of the Green Goblin, or sorry, we got the reveal, but Spider-Man's gonna get the reveal. So Spider-Man's gonna figure out who the Green Goblin is. Other than that, I have nothing else to add to this episode. I think it was pretty good. I'm a little confused on, Peter flip-flopping between these women, but, they're all teenagers, so it is what it is. It's just kind of weird to see him, like, literally last episode it was MJ. In the episode before that, it was Betty. And then I think at the beginning it was Liz, and now we're back to full circle where it's Liz. Again, not a critique, it's just an observation. So, anyway, that's about it. I just want to say, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and while you're here, if you could, please hit the like button and subscribe button if you want to see more Spider-Man content. I really, really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a ton. And I just want to shout out to you if you watched episode 6, because episode 6 is now over 500 views, and I also really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm Dual Dyer, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.